In a world of transferring players, NIL money, skill position players ruling the world, the Big 12 at the top is ruled by some old school toughness, man. It's like old school grit, toughness, power, smash mouth football that has been as impressive as any other school in the Big 12 so far from a couple of different squads in the Big 12. All right. And let me start on behalf of the league by issuing a sincere thank you to Utah because that was much needed. After the Baylor loss, after Cincinnati couldn't quite pull it out, after Colorado couldn't take advantage of 3 first quarter fumbles by Georgia Tech, Utah went and dropped the freaking hammer on UCLA, which frankly they should. Because if I were going to tell you, hey, what I want for you to do is to give me 2 teams on complete opposite ends of the spectrum on the toughness scale as a program, what would those 2 teams be that you could deliver to me? I feel like Utah v. UCLA is about as good as you could possibly do it. That is about as stark a contrast as you could find in terms of toughness. And obviously they're familiar with each other from the Pac-12 days. But, man, Utah went out, and if you are somebody that bought into Devin Dampier is going to make all the difference, they will still have a great defense. As always, Kyle Whittingham is not washed. He very much still has gas left in the tank. All you need to do is bust out a tape of this game and show it to somebody. And there's your proof of concept right there. It looked that good for Utah, 43-10 over UCLA. Utah had, if I gave you one stat from this game, Utah had more rushing yards than UCLA had total yards. Okay? That's all you need to know about this game. Utah had more rushing yards than UCLA had total yards. UCLA had under 250 yards of total offense in the game. I picked this up live. I've since gone back and watched most of it, but I picked this up live when Utah was in the middle of a 20-play, 9-minute touchdown drive that was capped off with a 4th and goal run by Devin Dampier. I mean, that is like chef's kiss. That's what I want out of Utah football. I want 20-play, 9-minute touchdown drives. And it's not even, they don't even go that slow like a lot of the offense. It had a pretty quick pace to it. You know, they were trying to establish some real no huddle throughout a lot of that game. But while they're doing this, Utah, by the way, is weaving in defensive players playing on offense. Smith Snowden had a huge role in that. But like three two-way players for Utah, like that's Kyle Whittingham, dude. Like finding ways to milk the most out of that roster, and just a bunch of tough son of a guns that are going out there and punishing UCLA, controlling. Whittingham said it after the game. He's like, you do not have a 20-play, 9-minute drive if you're not just controlling things up front. Utah's got 2 potential first-round draft picks on that offensive line. Like, we know that they are good. I mean, they went out and just delivered. And Devin Dampier, you know, I saw all the comps on Twitter of people saying, like, this guy looks like Kyler Murray. I mean, it is kind of unmistakable, like, just from a physical stature standpoint and how he moves and runs around. I definitely see the comp there if you're going to say, hey, this guy looks like Kyler Murray. He threw the ball very well. He was 21 of 25, 202 yards, couple touchdowns. He rushed for 87 and a score. I mean, that's what you wanted him to look like if you were Utah. He is not Drew Brees, Peyton Manning. He's not standing back there and just like picking you apart with his arm. I think that much was apparent when you look at the numbers from last year where he was a 12 touchdown, 12 pick guy. But if things are working well enough on the ground where you're controlling things up front, the running game is being very effective, and obviously you have to worry about Dampier's legs, then that just opens up a lot of wide open receivers and tight ends, or, you know, defensive backs or linebackers, whoever Kyle Whittingham is throwing out there. It makes them much more wide open. You don't have to be pinpoint guy back there just throwing dots. That's what it felt like to me as I was watching this game, is like Dampier has guys that are pretty open, and that makes it a lot easier for somebody who may not have the most accurate arm in the world to drop it in there, and he's plenty competent enough to do that. I mean, he definitely showed that in the game. So I could not have been more impressed. Look, UCLA is not a world beater. Nico Iamaleava, I guess if you want to say one thing in defense of UCLA is like, hey, if Nico Iamaleava doesn't overshoot, the guy kind of ran like the seam ball through the middle of the field on their first drive, or it was like 6-0 at that point, I think, Utah. And he just overshot him, probably was going to be a touchdown. You know, what happens if UCLA gets that and maybe they don't get their dauber down as much early in the game? They don't fall behind 20-0. I don't think that was making too much of a difference. That'd be maybe the only thing you could turn back around. Everything else from Utah overwhelmed UCLA, looked great. College football season is here, guys, and that means we all need to find good deals on tickets, all right? And the best place to do that is SeatGeek. I have to give a huge shout out to SeatGeek, the sponsor of today's video. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are over 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek. So obviously college football is covered, but if you're a music guy like me, it's perfect for concerts. I'm buying a ton of concert tickets this fall. And I tell you what, I have my eye on those Holy War tickets for BYU and Utah coming up as well. And man, all you got to do is open up the app. It's perfect. You can go check what's going on here, find the green dots in the seat. That means they're good deals. Red dots, maybe not so much, but SeatGeek will help you find the best deals on seats depending on where it is that you are trying to sit. They're each rated on a scale of 1 to 10. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And you guys know I'm here for you. I've got a code for you. Code Kurtz gets you $20 off your tickets. Again, that's code Kurtz for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. $20 off your first purchase with promo code Kurtz. Make sure you just click the link in the description to download the app and have that code on hand and ready to go. Guys, I'm here to help you out. I've got your back. Hit up my friends at SeatGeek. Same story for Iowa State. Another one of these. Now, they're a little bit different here in that Iowa State, the bulk of the offense in the Rocco Becht era has been him throwing it around the yard, and that was definitely true again in a 55-7 win over South Dakota. But they're still, I mean, that's a tough team. That's still more like an old school toughness team. They're gonna win with guys that are going to have more of a chip and more of an edge than you, and that's what that game was very emblematic of to me. Because, all right, here you go, guys. Everybody who was saying, I need to talk about K-State. K-State did not handle the travel from Ireland well. Clearly, they've got a million problems, that being one of them, and they damn near lost to North Dakota at home. Iowa State played a better FCS team, South Dakota, who actually won the Missouri Valley last year, the powerhouse FCS conference, and they won 55-7. Okay? That's all I need to know about, like, what kind of locker room, what kind of dudes, what kind of program, what kind of culture Matt Campbell has. Now, I can tell you all these things. Rocco Becht threw for 278 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was 19 of 20. He completed his first 14 passes. 11 of those completions went to tight ends. I mean, that's, it's all very, it's very Iowa Statey. It was great. South Dakota, as I mentioned, is for an FCS team, that's a pretty tough one. Pretty salty FCS team, and they just wallop them. To me, that's like a culture win for Iowa State, and this is why, I feel like I've seen enough out of Iowa State right now to say that I think they're going to be there in the Big 12 title race until the end of the year. Rocco Becht is a dude. He makes plays when you need him to make them the most. They're going to consistently bring it every single week. I don't worry about their culture and taking a week off, that sort of thing with them. They look very, very sharp and very good. So those are the two. Along with, I'm gonna float Texas Tech in here. Okay, now BYU fans, Kansas fans, TCU fans, even, because I haven't seen your team yet this year. If you want to have a little bit of beef with that, I'll listen to it. I'm going to talk more about BYU in just a moment. But Texas Tech in Arkansas Pine Bluff is not good. Okay, that is not a good FCS team. I understand they were just completely overwhelmed in this game. But Texas Tech looked like the freaking Monstars playing the Toon Squad early on in that game, right? They looked like a bunch of guys that looked like an SEC-ish kind of roster that was out there just destroying somebody. I don't think you should really make any big sweeping conclusions other than I would just say, okay, the eye test, Texas Tech looks the part. All right, that defensive line looks the part from the eye test from what I could see on Saturday. They won 67-7, by the way, against Arkansas Pine Bluff. That's not the big headline from the game. The big headline from the game is that there was a hyperextended knee for Baron Morton. I don't think like this specific injury is going to be a huge deal to Texas Tech season. I do think there's reason to wonder about Baron Morton's durability throughout the rest of the year. Last year, I know that wasn't really a problem, but throughout his career, that has been an issue at times. So I'd be a little bit leery about that. I mean, it certainly doesn't trigger great feelings in me, but no reason to panic yet. But there is reason to say, all right, man, like that Tech roster, like I've now seen it out on a football field against another team that's trying to win a game. I mean, that Tech roster looks pretty good to my eyeballs. Whether or not they can come through, I don't know. But that, to me, feels like cream of the crop based on what I have seen so far in the Big 12.